'Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. 'Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Generation Shock. That's right, I'm your host, the Sheck Monster, the monster on the mic. That's right, coming at you live on your screens, no matter how you're watching us on YouTube, whether it's by phone, by computer, by TV, it don't matter. I'm large and in charge tonight. And, yeah, I got some great guys here with me. You know what I'm saying? I got the head of the SEC here with me tonight. You know, it's the guy who's talking about all the millions that he could have won if he pulled it out of Fidelity. It's my boy.
It's your boy with FOMO. My name is Lewis. Actually, Messiah. It's your boy, Messiah. Thank you for watching. My back is feeling a little better, and my background is a little bit better than last week's.
Just don't sneeze.
Thank you for watching.
Just don't sneeze.
Yeah, I know. I tell myself that shit all the time. Don't sneeze, motherfucker.
Oh,
don't sneeze in turn.
Next up, I got the lovely, the sexy, the guy. Damn it, I forgot what I was gonna say. Man, I forgot what that expression was.
Good.
Oh, something about being Gucci in the coochie. It's my boy.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Gordo. Welcome.
That's right. You know he's Gucci in that. All right. We got a great show in store for you guys today. Really excited about this one. We will be having a special guest joining with us. They're just going to be a little bit late to the show, which is okay. Because you know what? It's getting ready to be about that time. And I think you guys know what time that is. It's a monster week in sports. Hey, you guys ready for this? Intro time. Let's go.
Gotta climb to the top, but never gonna stop. When the low, yeah, we going high.
I really hope you didn't talk over my intro. I swear. Hopefully the intro's louder than you, because if not, I might have to knock you out. Oh, knock you out, kind of like a couple football teams knocked some teams out this week. We had the NFC and AFC matchups, and boy, were they good games. That first game, though, boy. Woo, boy, that was a good one. That was Mr. Thomas Brady and the Tampa Bay.
Hold up. Let's put some respect under his name, bro. Is Mr. Tom Brady, TB12, GOAT. You know, let's just put some respect under his name, okay?
Tampa Tom out there playing against the Patriots, and it was a hell of a game, man. There was a nice little, I wish I had it on highlights. My favorite series in the game was Tom Brady, and yes, it was a Tom Brady play, first of all. Go figure. But Tom Brady throws the ball to Godwin, and he needs and it's like second down and like 5 or something, and he hits him on a 14-yard pass, and it literally just hits him in the hands, and he drops the ball. Fucking, like, come on, bro. Like, you're a professional receiver. You're not going to do that. So what do?
Yeah.
Literally the next play, Tom Brady throws it up in the air 54 yards to Godwin as just a jump ball, and Godwin somehow comes down with the fucking ball and catches it. But it's just the fact that he went back to him after he dropped such an easy cross pattern. And then the very next play, you got fucking Fournette, good old playoff Lenny over there. And he just ran that ball. He cut around the right side. He did a stiff arm, a spin move, and then dove towards the end zone, hitting 2 guys to fall in for the touchdown. At that moment, I'm like, damn, this is gonna be one of those games. I just know.
Let's just say that was a great first half, because everything you described was the first half. The second half could have been a little bit prettier.
Yeah, the second half.
Amos.
No, the second half could have been a little bit prettier.
Touchdown, Tunyon.
Hold on, I got a little audio for you. Can you guys hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, listen to this one.
Good protection. Pass is picked by Amos.
Oh, interception.
On the 2 point. As Mickens has a nice Brady steps into it, throws, and the pass is picked. Off the hands of Evans. Intercepted by Alexander.
Hold on.
Third down and 2. Brady just throws it up under pressure. Evans, he is picked by Alexander again.
Oh, 3 picks in the second half. Oh, my God. They're so lucky they won that game.
Yo, all I'm saying is this. I knew you were going to bring that up. I knew. I was like, yo, he's going to bring up the 3 interceptions. And I knew it, right? But 10 times in the Super Bowl, 1-6. If he wins this one, he's going to be his number 7. I'm going to be kicking my ass because it's in Tampa. I could at least, bought a ticket to go. But,
I thought you had at least come out with some stats. The fact that he's 3-1 in playoff games or he's thrown 3 interceptions.
No. No. But, right? He ended up winning this game with style. The only thing I would have to say is they should have gave defense the credit.
Yeah, I was gonna say he didn't win the game. Let's not go there.
Defense should have gotten that. Should have gotten that at the second half. Defense and the fact that the Aaron Rodgers coach made that stupid ass call. Any other coach would have got fired for that shit. Well, I can't say any other coach because Belichick would have not got fired. But anybody else that's not a legendary coach would have got fired.
Well, all right. So back to the other game. We had the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills. And I got to tell you, man, like the Bills had a great year, but they didn't look like they belonged in the field with the freaking Kansas City. Kansas City just dominated. Patrick Mahomes, his concussion.
That was a warm-up game for the Super Bowl, bro.
Oh, my
Basically
gosh.
what it was. They handed them.
Dude. Ooh. And right now, the Super Bowl matchup, we got the old-timer, 43 years old, that everybody says is the GOAT. We'll see. I don't know. Versus the future, number 15, who everybody says is becoming the GOAT already. So
you can't become the GOAT already.
I mean, he does things.
You can't put him in that category. Now, the kid is good. Yes, he's good. He does. Is he hard to stop? Yes.
I'm just okay. Listen,
but you can't put him in that category. Year one, like this.
Year one, he goes to the AFC Championship.
Okay.
Wins the MVP of the league. Year two,
and loses.
Year two, he goes to the Super Bowl and gets a Super Bowl MVP.
Okay.
Year three, he's in the Super Bowl again with a chance to win it, a back-to-back Super Bowl, which will be the first time since Tom Brady as a quarterback, and has a chance to be the Super Bowl MVP, which will be the first time since Terry Bradshaw. But
that doesn't put him in GOAT. He still needs more to go.
I know, but I mean, if we're talking about trends and what looks like the projection.
Yeah. Now, well, remember how like 2 weeks ago we were talking about dynasty? Do you think that Kansas City is going to become a dynasty?
If they win this game, they're going to become a dynasty. They are going to become a dynasty. Absolutely. Because they're going to win three in a row.
You think they're going to win 3 Super Bowls in a row?
If they win this one. Because if they win this one, I don't see how anybody stops them next year. I just don't. Because this is a hell of a team in Tampa. Like, I mean, they have offense, defense, special teams. I mean, they're there. And, and hell, you know what? We talked about, it was funny because the same thing we talked about on the Tampa Bay game with Tom Brady throwing to Godwin after he dropped the ball and then throws him the deep pass. Dude, N'Keal Hardman comes out, first punt of the game, muffs it, gives the Bills the lead with a touchdown, come right back to him. And he gets a touchdown. He gets a 50-yard run. Dude, like he was on the sideline covering his face, hiding. And they're coming up to him, dude, don't worry about it. Let's play our game. Forget about it, bro. Like, dude, out here, just crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, that was a hell of a game. Both of those games was crazy. Actually, the Tampa game was a lot more crazier than the actual Kansas City game. I mean, the Kansas City game and the Bills game, it started off like saying, holy shit, this is going to be a fight.
Yeah. And then
it just
was a wrap. Listen, it's Tom is the first quarterback in the first franchise ever to go and play a Super Bowl at home. I mean, got to give him credit. That's amazing, And
if he wins, he'll be known as that also.
Yeah, I agree.
The only time, for right now, it's the only time the Super Bowl has been played at home.
Yep. So, real quick, staying with football before we jump into the next part of Monster Rican Sports. I know Goldo got something he wants to bring up, but because we're still in football, I just want to stay with this. All right, guys, it's a minute 34, but I want you to listen to this. This is the new coach for the Detroit Lions, and tell me what you think about his press conference. Just listen to this real quick.
Raise the volume a little bit because last time we weren't listening to what you were putting up.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Oh wait, I gotta hit.
Because I felt like I knew this community. I played here. All right. Here's what I know. Just as an overall philosophy, you're going to say, well, what's this team going to be? What's it not going to be? Here's what I know. All right. I know that Detroit's made up of great people, some really good people. All right. This community is strong. This place has been kicked. It's been battered. It's been bruised. And I can sit up here and give you coach speak all day long. I can give you, hey, we're going to win this many games. I can't. None of that matters, and you guys don't want to hear it anyway. You've had enough of that shit. So excuse my language. All right. Here's what I do know is that this team is going to take on the identity of this city. All right. And this city's been down, and it found a way to get up. All right. It's found a way to overcome adversity. All right. And so this team's going to be built on, we're going to kick you in the teeth. All right. And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off. All right. And we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. All right. And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap, and we're going to get up. And then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing. All right. That's going to be the mentality. All right. And we're going to learn that any loss that we take, we're going to make sure we feel the full pain of it and not go numb to it and learn from it.
Yeah. So,
wow.
Were you able to hear it?
I was able to.
Okay. So this guy's talking about getting knocked up, taking teeth out, biting freaking kneecaps, smiling at you, getting knocked down, getting back up again. Like, oh my goodness. Like in this day and age of the NFL, for him to say those things, it just blew my mind. And I just curious if you guys had any thoughts about it at all. I don't know.
Let that man
I just think. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm just saying, let that man preach.
I just think that's the attitude you would expect from a person that's going to take the role. But are we trying to stay away from mentioning like violence when it's a sport of violence? It's a sport of violence. Why?
As a head coach, you have an obligation to represent your franchise in a certain manner or demeanor, and that's not normally what it is today. You know what I mean? Like, would that be? And would you put that in the same category as what was it? The Saints that were headhunting? Exactly. Because that's the thing. You're doing things that aren't allowed in the rules. You don't be knocking people down, knocking teeth out, and biting people's kneecaps and shit. Like, that's not what you do. It's not what it's about.
Would you put that in the same category as that?
No, because you didn't physically do anything yet. But still, it's the fact that you're implying that, to me, is a big no-no. That's just, I don't know. That's
it's a sport of violence. And he's saying, hey, we're going to fight for our shit. And we're going to do whatever it takes to fight for our shit.
I get it. But you know what this sport isn't? It's not MMA. Right?
You're right.
Oh.
Okay. It's not MMA. Oh. And when we talk about MMA, there was some MMA shit that went down over the past week.
Yes.
The weekend. And I know my boy Goldo wants to holler about it a little bit. So Goldo, talk a little bit about what happened this weekend.
So this weekend was the rematch between Conor McGregor and Dustin, how do you say his name? Poirier? I'm Hispanic. I don't know his name. Anyways, this weekend was the rematch. Now, McGregor got knocked out on second round, 2 minutes, 32 seconds in. But on their first match, McGregor knocked them out on the first round, 1 minute, 46 minutes in. And I'm guessing this is going to be turning like a best out of 3. So
is it?
Hopefully they're going to fight again. Hopefully.
Well, we got some images of the fight after fight. I don't who's this old guy? Like, I don't get it. Who's the old guy watching it with the mask? I don't know who this dude is.
Is that Bernie Sanders?
Is that who that is?
Yeah, it's Bernie Sanders.
I'm Bernie.
Yeah, because during the inauguration that he came in like that. Cold.
Hey, Sabrina, welcome in.
I love the one with him having the headlock on Connor. Like, that's just fucking classic.
Yeah, we getting ready.
That's hilarious.
For Cesar, he should be coming in.
I'm waiting on him. We're good. I mean, we're ready to jump in. It's just the wait on him.
Okay. I just send them a link.
The one with him in the bed, that's just hilarious.
Yeah, dude. Like, I just
no, but
somebody sent me one. It was like Belichick.
No, but for this coming and going of Conor McGregor versus Poirier, I think there's gonna be a third match just because it needs to settle. who's the best because there's 1-1. They both.
So McGregor. Also, this is already the second fight, and now it's a tie, 1-1.
Yep. The last
this
fight
will be like
was
Leonard Hearns. You ever seen
Well, their first match was 7 years ago.
Was it?
Yeah, 2014.
Damn. Well, that's what he said. He said the first match, he was a little bit shell-shocked, a little bit starstruck. He felt like he wasn't in there doing his whole thing. And then he said this time, he's like, I just went out and I just had another fight. Like, there was no... I wasn't nervous. It wasn't anything like that. He's like, I just went out and I fought. And he goes, yeah, I guess, how's there not going to be another one? I mean, if he's willing to do it, I'm willing to do it. I'm one, you're one, so it's just, let's go. Let's get round through. Let's get a third one in. And then he's talking about wanting to beat the shit out of Nate Diaz and stuff like that, Poirier, whatever his name is. So I thought that
so
was
let me ask
funny.
you this. How much, Goldo, if you know this, how much money did McGregor make off this fight? Because I know the Mayweather fight set him for years. That's why he hasn't fought in a while.
This fight was only like a $200,000 catch out.
Well, you heard did you hear what Dana White said after the fight about McGregor?
No.
He talked a little bit of shit. He goes, it's a lot different for McGregor now than it was back when he was, on top. He goes, when he was on top, he's hungry. He literally was looking to feed his family, coming from the streets, trying to become something. He goes, you spend enough years on top where you're making all that money and everything, and you're living large and all that, then, what do you think? Like, it's going to be a situation where, you're just, you don't have the same hunger, the same fight out there. You're not going after it the same way. No. And this guy does not look like the guy I expected, but I can't hear you.
No.
Who you can't hear?
You don't see him? Oh, you got to switch over your screen then. There's another one.
Okay.
$5 million. Somebody said they got paid $5 million for the fight. That sounds about right. It had to be something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 200,000 couldn't have been.
No, he didn't fight for $2,000. For $200,000. There's no way in hell.
Fought.
He's not waking up for $200,000. He's
not
even worth his time.
Let me see here for you. I know this guy, Jake Paul, who is a Vine star. He was offering him, what was it, $55 million to fight him?
Still no audio, bud.
Yeah, no audio, Marco. Nope. Go on your Zoom settings and change the audio output for the microphone.
I don't know, man. He's on that mic though. Look at him.
Yeah, look at him. Oh my God. He's like, just take the tongue out, bro. That's it. Just take it out.
There we go.
Oh, there it is. Just the tip.
Can you hear me?
Just a tip. Yeah.
All right, cool. No, we just got here, and because we were taking care of some stuff for Cesar. He's just taking care of something real quick at home, so I'll be filling in for hopefully the next 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how are you doing?
I'm his personal assistant today.
You know what I didn't do? Damn. You know what you should? Maybe I can look it up while we talk. Hold on. I should probably get something about their little logo or something. Nobody sent me their show.
Oh, I got it
up there. Send me a picture real quick. Email it to me.
I got it. Well, it's on the camera here. I don't have it over here anymore.
Well, you just useless.
But I can send it to you because I made the logo.
Oh, you want to email it to me?
You can send it like Check Monster. He got his back blown.
You know my email? Because I'm not blasting it on, for everybody.
or you can just text me, or I can just text it to you. Either one.
That is true.
These damn confounded things.
Come on, we're not the 70s. We don't have to send pigeons, bro.
Pigeons.
Yeah. So $5 million, he'll wake up for that. He has a settlement going on right now for domestic violence, so he needs all the money he can get.
No, but listen. This kid, Jake Paul, he was offering him 55 minutes to fight, right?
55 what?
Million.
No, there's no way. Jake Paul has that much money?
Bro, these guys are sponsored by everything in the world, pretty much.
That's no way.
It's not his money going out there. Like you said, it's the sponsors, man. Dude, you know how many people were pissed off though that they spent $70? I think it was LeBron James or somebody like that even said dude, I want my $70 back.
Well, it's a good thing they didn't grow up in the era where Mike Tyson was knocking niggas out in 2 minutes, 2 rounds, round 2.
Whoa, calm down, Messiah.
Hey man, I remember that shit. That shit was the best though. You know what? I'd pay $70 to watch Mike Tyson knock a motherfucker out like that. That's
and then back then was you had to go to a bar or pay pay-per-view. You were making he was paying $75.
Go to a bar. I wasn't old enough to go to a damn bar back then, man. I was freaking.
Did that stop you?
It's Messiah.
Did it stop you?
me.
Though?
Let it stop me.
All right, you got me there.
I just watch the windows, go
Yeah.
inside, sneak in while everybody's turning around watching the fight.
Listen, check monster. You're Caucasian. You're white skinned. Dude. You walk in, you say you're 30, they'll believe you. That's it.
Bro, I got ID'd for alcohol today.
What?
Did that feel good?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't mad about it, you know.
That's special though. That feels
Wasn't
like,
mad
ooh.
about it though, you know. I mean, so yeah, I got ID'd today though. I was like, what? Okay.
Yo, real quick, let's knock on the subject real quick. It's just to be a short subject while we wait for Cesar. What do you guys think about Wall Street Bets? The Reddit.
Oh, okay.
Marcos, you know anything about it?
I don't. I don't really.
I don't know
much
enough
So
about
Wall
it's a
Street.
thread on Reddit.
I know about the
check Monster,
Reddit
go ahead.
page.
I don't know enough about it, but I know that they you know, Reddit. For people who don't know what Reddit is, it's like a social media outlet where people get together and they talk, and there's different group chats and different things, and you just talk about different things going on. Like there's some about stupid video games. Like I'm trying to think of the Rocket League. There's like a Rocket League Reddit. There's a Star Wars
Forums,
Reddit.
basically.
Huh?
That's all it is forums.
Yeah, it's
Like a
just different
Discord and
groups
shit.
and forums.
There's literally a Reddit for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I
For
guess there was
everything.
one for GameStop because everybody found out GameStop got bought out by a conglomerate, and there was rumors they were going to try to change it and shut it down
Short
or
selling.
something.
Yep. Short selling,
And
yeah.
so somebody in Reddit decided to start a movement and basically say, fuck this conglomerate. You guys bought out a company I like, and made a movement that they're going to get people to try to follow them and buy stock and raise the price and inflate the price of the stock. So that way, if they went to sell the company out, it's going to be harder because now if they want to sell it, they're either going to lose money or they got to find somebody willing to buy it at the valuation the stock's
Yep.
at. But everybody knows it's not worth that money.
Shit, bro.
It
It's
literally went from
inflated.
like $1.50 to like $300 in a month. And nobody in their right mind
6,000%.
yeah, like nobody in their right mind wants to buy a company with that kind of inflation. So the conglomerate is now stuck with this damn company that they didn't really even want to begin with, that they were going to sell off or get rid of or whatever it is. And so now they're just stuck.
Yeah, and it's just crazy because a lot of people bought into options in that. It's a couple of companies. It's GameStop, it's AMC, and actually AMC went viral with the tweet "Save AMC," and they went viral with that also. So those companies were the companies that were expected to like drop, right?
Yeah.
Like
Drop it
short
like it's
sell and all that shit.
hot.
And they just the money just like that right now, bro. Like,
Crazy.
well, option trading people making bank.
Bank.
Yo,
It's
tell them what
crazy.
you
I
were
just want to throw
telling-
that. It's just hot news right now. I just wanted to like share that shit and I just thought.
So also share how you stood up and went to your wife yelling, telling her, like, babe, this guy turned 55,000
Oh, you heard
to
that?
22 million.
Yep. I was like, see what happened when
Hey,
you don't
you know
buy
what?
into shit like
what
that.
I need you to do is, because I didn't post it since we got a little time to kill. So for the avid viewers that watch the show, whether it's live or after live, tell the story about how you hurt your back, because I never posted
Oh, okay.
it.
So you didn't leak
Wait,
it? I thought
I-
you
Wait,
were
wait,
leaking it.
wait, wait. He's here.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, tell the story real quick while he
Uh,
gets in.
no, he could hear the story.
Yeah. Go ahead, start telling it then.
All right. So basically, my back's been hurting the whole week. My lower back's been hurting the whole week. And I was actually, what's up, Cesar?
Hey,
Yo, what's up?
What's up, player?
what's up, bro?
Yeah.
Yo.
I'm sharing a
What's
quick
good,
story
what's
here. You gotta hear this
About how you
crazy
got-
ass story.
About how you got your back blown out?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
That
okay.
same exact story.
All right.
Yeah. So right, because Sheikh Monster said last week, because last week I did the show live from my bed because I couldn't
Right.
move. So my back was hurting the whole week.
What y'all don't
right?
know
So-
is I was right there behind him. You know.
Whoa.
Years.
Here we go.
Yeah. So I'm trying to mess with this shit, trying to put it in tablet mode, right? Try to put the tablet to work with this, get all this shit going with the tablet. And then I'm sitting on this chair I'm in right now, and I'm gonna sneeze, right? So as I'm sneezing, I turned and sneezed, but I went down. And when I went down, when I sneezed, my back went crack, like my lower back just went, it tightened up, and it sent a chill right all the way through the top of my spine. And I couldn't move for 2 seconds, bro. So
Really?
technically, I fucked up my back by sneezing. Yeah. So what happens when you're 1,000 years old? so
That
I
is
tell the people
the-
the story. They're like, "Yo, sneezing for real?" I'm like, "Yeah, for real. It was sneezing."
So I'm gonna go ahead and give this man an intro because he didn't get to start the show with us originally.
Oh no,
So-
let me. All right. So we got the man here, you know, full of layers. You got to peel him back one at a time. He's like an onion. We got Shrek Monster on the mic. Big boy Shrek Monster.
Oh my gosh.
Peel him back one at a time. He's once you get to the middle, you know, it still tastes like an onion. So nothing there. Then we got Tale as Old as Time. You can press rewind. He's not beauty, but he is the beast. If the beast, you know, lived millions and millions of years, Bazaya right there. He's actually been in quite a couple of history books. You can find him in a lot of places.
Yeah, the Bible being one of them.
Exactly. And then you know, we got our boy, you know, ladies boy toy. The girls love him. The men hate him. I'm one of them. You know, he's got more game than an Xbox, a PlayStation, and a Nintendo Switch. Our
This
boy
guy had
Bozo.
this shit ready. He wrote this shit down. Like, look at this.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
All right.
Yo,
all right.
by the
And,
way,
for those of you
one
who
of our
don't know
viewers
me,
said hi to you, Caesar.
hold on. Yeah, I got the chat up here.
Okay.
I'll address the chat in 1 second. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
leave him alone, man.
Um,
He's a
but-
professional at this shit now.
Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time.
It's the guy who put Los and Los Compadres.
Exactly. It was the guy that you know, put a lot of stuff in a lot of places he shouldn't have, but you know, here I am.
Whoa.
Here I am.
Okay. Well, we're excited to have you on. It's been a long time coming, and you know, I will say we got to get you on a different note other than what we're going to talk about today. But we started off, I don't know if you got to watch the show. So we were starting off talking about a monster week in sports. So we talked a little bit of the McGregor fight. We talked a little bit about this crazy ass coach who said some comments about biting people in the knees. And we talked about the Super Bowl and the upcoming event. And one of the things in the Super Bowl that, you know, I think is really cool what they're doing out there is the NFL is going around and they're surprising hospitals in Florida with not only the vaccination for COVID, but they're also bringing them over to the game to be able to view it. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
And the reason
they're
they
giving
brought-
away tickets to, I think it's like Advent Health members, which is a hospital here in Florida.
Yep,
It's
I
actually
think
the
there's a hospital in Sarasota that he's doing the COVID first response team. There was another hospital that somebody else gave tickets to and stuff. So they said in total they're trying to bring in about 7,500 healthcare workers who are going to be vaccinated before they come in. So they're going to get them the vaccination and they're giving them tickets for a full experience to the Super Bowl. The reason why I bring it up though is because obviously one of the reasons we, you know, invited you on is for you have an opportunity on a different platform for people who don't know about Los Compadres podcast and be able to talk about your experience with COVID because unlike some of us, you know, we talk a lot about it, but we haven't lived it. Not the way that you have and the people around you have. So we're interested in hearing your story today. But we're first of all need you to go ahead and take that hat off before we start. Because I can't really look at you with that hat on.
Listen, yeah, see, there we go. We can't. I literally straightened it out just because I wanted you to say something about the hat.
Yeah,
I wanted you to say something. Listen, Giants suck. Patriots suck now.
This year.
It turns out Tom Brady was the key. You know, people were saying he's a system QB. Look at where he is now.
It's
All
still
the
a
way to the
system.
Super Bowl.
It is still a system.
In what? In
Byron
an air
Leftwich
raid
is
system?
a great coach, bro. Great offense coordinator.
Yeah, he is. He's been around for a while.
He has been around for a while, but it's a completely different system. He's
Hey, I'm rooting for
on a
Tom
West
Brady,
Coast
bro,
air raid
all the way.
system. Yep. Bucks are the first team to play at home, man. It's crazy.
It's going to
But-
be a good one. It
That's
definitely
exciting.
will. And
Yeah.
we'll talk a little bit more about you know, your shitty Cowboys if you want a little bit. But let's go ahead and
No,
hop right
hey,
in,
listen,
'cause
I'm mad at them right now just because they haven't extended Dak Prescott.
I was gonna say you
so-
still don't have a quarterback really. So
Yeah,
well,
so you know, we can skip
I think
that.
they're playing the long game.
all right.
Let's
So-
move
Wait.
forward onto what
Yeah,
we're doing.
So go ahead and hop in and just jump in and tell us. I'm going to put the slideshow up as you kind of, you know, in the middle of you talking, so people can kind of see some of what happened. But tell us a little bit about your experience with it, what happened, what went on, and how it affected the people around you. But, go ahead and just speak your story.
So, man, where do I begin? I guess at the beginning. It was it all started back in October, right? A lot of people don't know this, but I'm actually I haven't even mentioned this on our podcast, but I'm a school teacher, right? So I'm around students all day, and I teach middle school. So I pretty much, it was late October. I started to like feel a tickle in my throat, started to get kind of like sickish, and I thought it was like a cold. Anybody could beat a cold in a weekend. But then I lost my voice and I started to get a fever and a migraine. I couldn't break it. Ended up going to a hospital, and all they did was give me an IV. Broke the headache, broke the fever. The next day I wake up, I'm coughing up blood. So I go back to the hospital. This time they do the COVID test, comes back positive. And I'm like, okay, it's COVID. Like millions of people have had it, and most of them can beat it at home. Well, it turns out the specific strand of COVID I had a lot to do with pneumonia. So it ended up really messing up my lungs. So what happened was they, put me into the hospital. This was a couple days later. Like I couldn't breathe. I was really short of breath. My fingernails were turning purple. My oxygen levels, I was desaturating like very quickly, like just standing up. I was like fatigued by just standing up, And so my fiance bought me a pulse oximeter, and I couldn't get above 90. Like I literally couldn't get above 90 in saturation. And what that means is that the amount of oxygen that is in your blood is usually about anywhere between 95 and 98%, right? Your blood is 95 to 98% oxygen. And I couldn't get above 90, which means I had more blood in my blood cells than I did oxygen, which is not good for your lungs, right? It's horrible for your lungs, and it's horrible for your brain too, because if your brain lacks oxygen, it could cause a lot of damage. So what ended up happening was I go into the hospital day one. They have me on 6 liters of oxygen, and I can't get above 93%, right? Which 93% isn't bad. They want you between 86 and 99%. If you go up to 100%, that means you usually have a different type of infection that's actually bad. 90, it's the norm is usually between 90 or 86 and 90. I said 99, but I think it's actually 98. So they couldn't do what would happen is I would fall asleep and I would drop down to like 83. So they had to move me to an intensive care unit where they went from 6 liters of oxygen per minute to 60 liters of oxygen per minute. And I had a nose tube in. I don't know, check if you have the slide.
Yeah, I'm going to put it up in a second here.
Yeah. If you want to go for that. I think I sent Lewis the pictures in order.
Yeah, no, I got it up here. I'm going to put it up in a second. I'm just readjusting a couple of the pictures.
No, yeah, go ahead. Take your time. And again, sorry I'm late, guys. Just, life sometimes gets in the way of these things.
You're fine.
But
you made it.
Yeah.
That's what's good.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Keep talking though.
Okay.
I'll be putting the pictures up as we go.
Okay. So at first, they had me on a regular, just like a mask of oxygen, like you would like a nebulizer. You guys know what a nebulizer is?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's just like a standard nebulizer thing. And it was feeding me the 6. Then they did what was called a cannulation, where they actually put the nose tubes in you, and those pump more oxygen. Again, that was like 60 liters per minute, right? So you go from a face mask to nose tubes, and then they put me on both, right? So while I was in there, like even just standing up, because they would want me to stand up and walk like around the room, which was almost nearly impossible because I was hooked up to like a lot of IVs and stuff. While I was in there, even just standing up would just like fatigue me. Like I felt like I was out of breath. Again, I would look at my fingernails and they would turn purple. I would start to like decolor and stuff like that. Like I literally like I was breathing, but it felt like air wasn't getting into my lungs, right? Like the pneumonia was that bad. And what ended up happening was that I also developed anxiety and depression and panic attacks for 2 reasons. The first reason was isolation. You know, you test COVID positive, no one can see you, no one can visit you. And the second reason was I felt very defenseless. I've never felt more vulnerable, more defenseless, more like, how do I say it? Like anybody could take advantage of me at that point, and there would be nothing I could do, right? No way that I could like fight anything off or anyone off or anything. So this first picture that's coming up right here, you know, that was the first time that my fiance was able to visit me in the hospital. And if you look at it, you see like all the gear that she had to wear. If you go back real quick.
It's a slideshow, so give it a second. It's gonna play right
through.
through.
Loop around, but you'll see all the gear that she had to wear just to see me. Like she had to, like her face was like completely covered, face shield, everything, M2 masks, all that stuff, and basically, that was that helped a lot. But she was only allowed to see me that one time, you know. Well, actually, she saw me twice. The other time was in a different room.
So she was allowed in the room with you while you were going through all this?
Twice. I'm sorry, twice.
Okay.
So again, like the loneliness, like just being alone, like I developed anxiety, depression. I felt very vulnerable. And it got to me. And because it got to me that bad, I felt like I, you know, even though they were telling me like, oh, you know, he's stable, you're stable, I knew I was getting worse. Because I mean, even though I had COVID and my lungs were weak, there was nothing really motivating me to get better. Because, you know, like I said, like I was more worried about these other things that I couldn't control than what I could control, which was getting better. So what ends up happening is the doctor finally tells me, he's like, hey, like we have to put you on a ventilator, right? And I had heard stories about how once you go on a ventilator, it does the breathing for you, and like your lungs just don't recover from that, right?
So your body becomes dependent of the ventilator?
On the ventilator, yeah.
Okay.
So and what ends up happening is that people usually don't make it through the ventilator phase, right?
So you seen it as a negative. So that must have made you panic more.
Exactly, because I was like, if I go on the ventilator, you know, I'm gonna die. And the doctor's like, well, if you don't go on the ventilator, you're gonna die. So he's like, at least the ventilator will give you a chance. And I was like, okay. And I FaceTime my fiance and I told her, you know, I was like, I love you. And I was like, should I do this ventilator thing? And she's like, yeah. And then the next thing I know, I wake up and I'm in Orlando, and it's been 20 days, right? So I was sedated for 20 days. And what happened was I went into critical condition when they put me on the ventilator, and they needed to put me what was known as an ECMO machine, right? And what this machine does is it pulls blood from your body, puts oxygen into it, and then puts it back into your body, right? So they needed to keep me sedated for 20 days because I would make what was known as non-positive movements. Like I would wake up and I would freak out and I would start to pull tubes out and stuff like that. And I would it was, you know, I was stressed the whole time.
Yeah.
I was panicking. I was full of anxiety. And so they had me on both machines, this ECMO machine that every time I would cough or just not breathe, it would beep, right? And again, it pulls blood out, pushes body in, or I'm sorry, pushes blood with oxygen in. And then I had the ventilator on as well, which was also feeding oxygen into my lungs directly at like a very high rate, right? So what ends up happening is, you know, I wake up, I'm in bed, I feel stressed. They don't sedate me anymore, but I keep asking like, when can I leave? But mind you, I can't talk because I have a hole in my neck. So there's no way for me to communicate. And the fact that they strapped me down to a bed to where I couldn't move for over 20 days, plus the bed rest that I had, I'd become very weak. So I didn't have any dexterity in my hands. Like I couldn't like write anything. I couldn't point to anything. I could barely lift my hands, you know?
Wow.
And so like when you don't move for that long period of time, it takes a toll on your body. It makes you weak. It makes you really weak.
What do they call it? Atrophy or something like that? You get atrophy for being in the bed too long?
I think so. If you could define that, I could tell you if that's what it was or it wasn't. But basically, yeah. What ends up happening is, I lost a lot of muscle, like more than anything, muscle.
Yep.
I had to like basically once I was after that, like my recovery kind of like took off in a really positive way. Like, but this was only after I was allowed to receive visitors, right? So after 4 negative COVID tests, like I begged and begged, and the nurses were like, okay, you can see visitors, right? So my parents would come to see me, my fiance would come to see me, and those were the only 3 people who were allowed to come to see me. No one else was allowed to come to see me. And it was only 1 person per day. So whoever would come and stay the whole day with me, right? Just to try to keep me like relaxed. And it was hard. Like it's very tough on the mind, like to know
isolation.
Yeah, to be isolated for so long. And then it was even worse because again, I fell asleep in Lakeland and then I wake up in Orlando 20 days later, and how
did that affect you? Like I could only imagine, like, how did I end up here?
Well, that was the thing. I was like, what happened? Like, I was, transported via, a helicopter because I was in very critical condition. And like, I didn't realize any of it, like they sedated me so much to the point where like, I didn't even notice I was being moved. I didn't know what was going on. My fiance like was able to visit me a couple more times in the hospital, like before I had fully woken up from sedation. And she said like my eyes would be open, but she knew I wasn't awake because they were just gray. Like they were just gray. Wow. Like they had no color to them,
Yeah, I couldn't imagine the loss of time too. Like you said, 20 days of, you think it's one time and then you wake up at 20 days later. I mean, that's
Well, also the support behind the support group behind it. Like for example, like like your fiance. Could you imagine her what she went through seeing you for 20 days like that? And she's like,
exactly. So that's the thing that like it becomes 2 very different stories, right? Because for me, I was asleep and I was awake, and I went through a lot during that time when I was asleep. I developed a bacterial infection. I was transported. I became very critical. My lungs were damaged, and I lost a lot of muscle tissue, and I lost a lot of just muscle in general. I couldn't move, versus where my parents and my fiance and my friends, it's like, he's asleep. Like, we can't wake him up. He's not making positive movements. He's making negative movements every time we try to lower him from sedation. Like, they just have to go on with the agony of like, is he going to wake up? When is he going to wake up? When are they going to let him wake up? Things like that, And so it becomes 2 very different things. You look at it from both perspectives. Like it's crazy. It's just kind of crazy to think about. And so I'm sorry.
So when your family started visiting, like your fiance and your parents, that also started helping you, right? Mentally?
Yeah. So that started helping me mentally, which is when my recovery really started taking off. So when they were able to visit me, after waking up, it was about a week after that they were able to start visiting me. And then a week after that, I came off of the ECMO. Like my body was able to put oxygen into the blood itself without this machine anymore, which like in total, the whole period of time I was on this ECMO machine was a month. And the nurses were surprised because people usually spend about 2 to 3 months on that machine, sometimes even more, before their body could do it on their own. And then a week later, I come off of the ventilator, right? And coming off of the ventilator was kind of a very jarring thing because I was breathing then on my own. They still had me on oxygen, but I was now like, I had to breathe for myself. Like this machine wasn't doing it for me. So like they were very adamant about remember to breathe. And like I never forgot, to breathe.
Yeah.
But it was kind of jarring because I immediately felt the lack of oxygen, and that kind of made me a little bit more anxious.
Yeah.
So after that, they put, I had a trachea in my throat, which is basically just like this tube that they use to, get oxygen to your lungs and stuff. And it's used for other things. But with this trach, I still couldn't talk because I still had basically like a hole in my throat. And so a week after that, what they did was they put this thing called the passing mirror valve, and I could finally talk, So I was, for about a month, for about 2 or 3 weeks of being awake, I couldn't communicate with anyone. I don't know sign language. The nurses, I would have to like literally make like gestures to try to get their attention. Sometimes they would forget to give me back my call button. So if I needed a nurse and I needed to hit the button to call the nurse, like I couldn't reach it. It wasn't anywhere near me. And so things like that would kind of like put me into like a state of panic,
Yeah.
And because I was in the state of panic, a setback would occur, right? So when these setbacks occur, like, I don't blame the nurses. Like I would get really mad and just kind of like shut down, like I would get like super mad. Like one time this nurse came in and was like, we need to shave you because your beard can carry bacteria. And I was like, okay, like I couldn't say no. So I was like, all right, like I just shrugged it, and he like dry shaved me. Right.
Yeah.
Well, comes to find out, like later, like they have cans of shaving cream he could have used, but he's probably getting back at me for something, like something
that's crazy
off during the day. And the thing is, like, the worst part is like you're so dependent on other people, you almost feel like, I don't even know how to describe it, but you're just so dependent on other people for everything, like to clean you, to bathe you, to like if you use the bathroom to like wipe you and stuff like that. Like you become so codependent on all these nurses, and it's never comfortable. It never gets comfortable. It never gets easier. It never gets less painful or less anything, And so again, like it comes back to that feeling of vulnerability. Like I felt super vulnerable, but once I could talk, like I could actually like defend myself, and I could say like, no, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. But again, like I was so lost in the construct of time, like the fact that I didn't know what had happened in between these 20 days. I just knew that I had fallen asleep in Lakeland and woken up in Orlando, that like I couldn't really focus on anything else, So eventually they moved me outside of the ICU, and I started to walk. What they did first was they sat me up, and just sitting up like was crazy. Like I couldn't sit up. Like I kept falling to the side. Like I kept like, like they would try to sit me up straight and I would fall over. And
the muscles weren't there.
Yeah. And I would fall over. And I was like, this is insane. Like this is the most basic thing to do, is just to sit up, and I can't do it. Right. I hadn't exerted any energy in over 30 days. And so the first time I stood up, like that was when it really hit me, like, holy crap, like I can't walk. I really can't walk. Like this is going to be a problem, That was when it, like the seriousness of COVID had hit me, was when it affected things that are the most basic things, which is like walking, using the bathroom, brushing your teeth, texting, like holding something in your hands, like the most basic things in life, like I couldn't do.
So how long did that recovery process take to accumulate those muscles and that that ability to, you know, do those things?
So when I first woke up, right, because they had me strapped down to a bed for so long and they had mitts on me so I wouldn't take things off, I couldn't even text. Like, I couldn't even hold my phone.
Wow.
And I would try to like send a text message and my fingers like were just so shaky that I couldn't. And so the nurses would try to communicate with me through this board with letters on it, right? And this board with letters on it was like I would try to point to a letter, but they were so close to one another and my hands were like so shaky that they didn't know which letter I was pointing to. So like it would be it would, you know, some words it would make the whole difference, like between was and like what or something, you know, if I forgot like a H. And then at the same time, like trying to deal with what I'm trying to remember with what I'm trying to say, trying to focus on pointing on the right letters and trying to remember how to spell, because like I couldn't remember how to spell things. I was already bad at spelling, to be honest with you. But like
Yeah.
but like just trying to remember how to spell some words was like hard, you know, it was hard. Like I was brain dead for a couple days, and the recovery process, like, I mean, it's still going on, but from the moment I got decamulated, which is where they took the ECMO off and they took the ventilator off and had me on regular oxygen, it took me about 3 weeks to be able to get the muscle back and walk without a walker. Like basically after that, after they took those two things off, it was I was in the hospital for 3 more weeks, and physical therapy would come and see me every day and take me for a walk. And I remember the first time that they took me for a walk, I made it to the end of the corridor, which is something like 300 feet, right? And I was just like, I felt like I just ran a marathon. I was so exhausted. I was so tired. Like, I did not have the stamina for it, right? And standing on its own was a challenge. It was a task. Again, like I said, I didn't realize how serious it was until the most basic things that I could do before, I couldn't anymore, you know? And so I just kept going every day. You know, I was like, I was going for walks. Like every day I would get a little bit further and a little bit further. Eventually I was doing laps around the, you know, the PCU, the like the less intensive care unit. Cause once I was done with the ECMO, they moved me to a lesser like intensive care unit because they didn't need to, you know, monitor me as much, you know. But by that time, I was allowed visitors. So again, like I said, once they allowed visitors in, my fiance was literally there every single day from 8 a.m. until like they kicked her out. And eventually, like I wore the head nurse down enough to where he just let her sleep over. So like I literally like asked and asked and asked, and finally he was like, all right, fine, like we can do that, you know. And so like she would sleep like on the uncomfortable ass couch because they got rid of the couch beds because no one was supposed to sleep over, you know. And like a lot of that like just helped keep my nerves down, but also like just again like the whole walking thing, like little by little, like I would get tired, like exhausted, like I just felt like I just ran like a marathon and I'd only walked, you know. They say that the thing is about the length of like a high school track, you know.
Yeah.
So just walking one lap at a very slow pace with a walker because I didn't have my balance yet was hard. It was difficult. And again, it's like that's something anyone can do. You know, that's something like a 1-year-old could do. A 1-year-old could walk laps all day around a high school track. And I could do one before like they're like, all right, you need to sit down because you're pushing your body too much, you know? And so yeah, I mean, it was like I lost a ton of muscle. And then when they finally released me, when they finally let me go home, oh, I'm sorry, skipped over this part where they did a chest x-ray and I had a, you know, part of the side effects from COVID is how it affects your lungs, right? So I actually have a pocket of air in one of my lungs. They put a chest tube in, right, to try to get the pocket of air like out of my lungs, you know, to try to see if they could fix it. The chest tube did absolutely nothing. And then I have scar tissue on the other side of my lungs. So I'm never gonna get back my full lung capacity. Like they told me, straight up told me, you're never gonna go back to 100%. You're never gonna play contact sports again. Like,
is that because of COVID?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not because of the infection you got and all that. Or it was because of COVID.
No, that's because of COVID.
I'm not trying to make a lot of things when I say this, but what contact sports were you playing?
None. But I just can't. I'm just saying, like,
I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm just, you know.
No, I wasn't playing any, but
I don't know if you're, because I
know there goes my dream of being in the NFL, being an MMA fighter.
Well, no, but I know I know one of your close compadres over there. He plays a lot of soccer and indoor soccer and does some different stuff like that. And I know people don't think of it as a contact sport, but there can be contact involved. So I didn't know if maybe you were out there doing that with him. So that's why I was just curious.
So yeah, like things like that. Anything where I could take a hit to the chest or a hit to the back is considered a no-no because, like I said, but
it affected your lungs it permanently. Mm-hmm. How?
So I have a pocket of air on one side that when they put the chest tube in, right, is like this tube that literally tries to drain all the air and liquid out of your lungs. Did nothing. It literally did nothing. It couldn't pull the air out, right? Oh, wow. And on the other side, I have scar tissue where, like, basically, your lungs are like balloons. They inflate and they deflate, right? Mm-hmm. So because of the scar tissue, my lung is never going to inflate in that area, right? And because of this air pocket that's in here, no air can get in or out of that pocket, So I lost pretty much half a lung.
Okay, a portion.
So, yep. So I lost a portion of a lung, which is, or I think they said a third of a lung or half a lung, something like that. So
wow.
What ends up, what ended up happening is, like, they told me, like, you're never gonna get back to 100%. You can't play contact sports. Like, you have to be careful, and you may one day need an operation to get that air bubble out of your chest, if it ever becomes a problem in the future. But as of now, like, I've been out of the hospital for a month now, close to a month. The 31st will be a month. And, like, my recovery process has skyrocketed. Like, it's going great. Like, that's good. Like, the first couple of days, like, the simplest things, like taking a shower, like my fiance had to she had to bathe me. Like, I couldn't do it myself because I would run out of breath, like things like that. Like, she had to be there, like things like.
So we had a question from somebody who's viewing this and watching this. So what's something that we normally take for advantage of, on a normal basis, being able to do daily, that you've come to appreciate so much more now than maybe you did before?
So one of the things is wiping my own butt. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Being able to wipe.
I don't mean to laugh.
Laugh. Like that's the serious answer. Like, no, like I'm being serious. Like, just being able to pee standing up if you're a man, or wiping your own butt and not having someone else having to wipe it for you. Like, that's just a feeling of, like, success right there, like the standing and stuff. Like, yeah, that was cool, but the coolest part was, like, just being able to, like, finally, like, just wipe my own ass, like,
basically have that privacy again.
Exactly.
On the throne.
Have that, that's where that's your area. That's your sacred place. Yep.
That's where you get creative.
That's where everything is born, essentially. Yep.
So kind of with a follow-up question similar to that is, and I'm not, I'm just kind of curious, is there something you're afraid that you're not going to be able to do because of what you went through in your future that maybe you would have been able to do before?
I can't play in the NFL, man. I was on
my
way there.
You don't want to play for the Cowboys. Like, let's be honest. I mean,
no, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Nothing in my future was really, based off of my poor athleticism at the time.
But so when you say no contact, you're still able to run, like throw the, like you're able to still do certain things like that.
Yeah,
right?
like I can run, I can throw the ball, I can, play.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as I don't get hit,
Okay.
like I can't go out and do like MMA or something.
No. But what I guess I was thinking of is like, obviously you talk about your fiance, right? So obviously
Right.
there's plans at some point, start a family, have
Right.
kids.
Right.
And so I was just hoping that there isn't things that this experience in your life that you went through is going to prevent you to be able to do with maybe your kids or certain things in your life that maybe you were planning on doing. Some people, for instance, they have a dire desire to go skydiving, bungee, like, things like that. Obviously you probably won't be able to do some of those things. But I just was also curious luckily it's not that bad for you that you can't, you're not going to miss out on those types of things in your life that, I know you'd probably be excited about. So, cause I don't know enough about it, how serious of exertion that you can have. I get the impact part, but sometimes for people, it's more than just the impact. You can't do a certain amount of exertion, because especially with, like, you talk about the damage to your lungs, that has to, like, obviously you're not going to go do any marathons. That's for sure. Not that you were probably planning on.
So what they told me is you'd be surprised how the body can adapt and overcome to these things. And so, like I said, they said I'm never going to be back to 100%, which, honestly, my 100% like peaked in like high school, like I was like 240 pounds when I went into the hospital, and I came out at 188. I wasn't really
great weight loss program. Yeah.
Exactly. Is better than keto, but the thing is, like I said, your body adapts to that stuff,
Okay.
Like the doctor told me, he knows people, living on half a lung who still do their day-to-day activities. They run, half marathons. They, are very active people. They go to the gym. He's like, your body will adapt. It's just going to take time.
Yeah, you will learn to live with it.
Yeah. So there's not anything that I'm not going to be able to do. He just said no contact sports. He was very adamant about, no contact sports.
You're definitely not going to be the quarterback when Dak leaves. I get it.
So let me ask you,
I got a weak arm anyways.
Do you take now, because of your experience, do you take day by day? Do you take it day by day now, or do you plan ahead?
No, it's everything is kind of. I'm gonna be honest with you. Every day I wake up, I feel blessed. Second chance. I want to do, and one of the problems that a lot of people see that I don't see is that I argue with my parents a lot that, like, hey, like, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to do that. And they're like, but you can't, like, your body's still weak. Your body's still recovering. Your body's doing this. And I'm like, I feel great. Like, I can walk for miles. You put a small hill on me, maybe not miles, maybe a couple 100 feet, but like, but like on flat land, I can walk all day, no problem without getting tired. But, like I
can't imagine what that's like, though, because, when it comes to parents, fiancés, wives, those types of things, like, they're going to be overprotective, and it's hard for them to understand, like you're saying, like, look, I know how I feel,
right?
And I'm okay. Like I can, I might not be fully recovered, but I can go out and I can do these things again.
Exactly.
But like you said before, and I can't imagine what it's like. I do know somebody else who went through something similar like you, but I'm not very close with them. I have a connection to them, and it's like you say, there's two sides of the story. There's you went to sleep and woke up, but while you're sleeping, they're going through this all.
Yeah,
exactly. They're awake every day to have to see it.
Yep.
And so for them, they can't. They're still not ready to let you.
They still see that.
Yeah, they're not ready to let you recover at the speed you want to,
especially
because they had to deal with it. It's such a different perspective for everybody, which is just difficult.
Yeah,
it is. And sorry, I have not been talking. I'm just listening to you, taking all this in. And it's like, at the same time, it's like breaking me down, because I'm like, I don't want none of my friends or family to go what you went through. So
I don't wish it upon anyone.
Upon anybody. So that's why I'm like, I haven't been able to speak, because like I have not found the words to say something about it. Like I'm here, like my eyes are watery as hell, and I'm like I can't speak, like I can't find the words. Like I had a plan to ask you questions, but I just can't. Like legit, I can't. So.
No, I mean, well, when you can ask away, ask away. I mean, honestly, like the reason I share this experience is because I did all I could. You know, I always wore the mask. I always sanitized. I always took care of myself, came home, washed my hands after every trip to the store. Like, no matter how preventive you are, if you're going to get it, you're going to get it. You know, it's just in the books. And I hope that no one ever gets it as bad as I did. I will say the doctor did say helped me a lot was the fact that I had a lot of muscle coming into it. You know, like, yeah, I was, a lot of that muscle was covered in fat, but I still had a lot of muscle coming in with it. But I mean, I hope like no one ever gets like this harsh of it, and the sad reality is that people do, because when I was there, every room was full. Every room had someone in it going through what I was going through. They just weren't recovering at the pace that I was recovering. They were surprised that I was in and out and went what I went through in 2 months. And 2 months for me seemed like an eternity, but they straight up told me there's been people who've been here for 6 months. Imagine spending half of your year in a hospital bed room because you can't even leave the room.
Yeah.
Spending 6 months just laying down in a bed, like that was insane to me. And I was like, I need to, like, I need to do something to get better.
So are you back to work yet, or is like any time in the future that coming? Like where are you? I mean, I'm just curious, like, because I know you're on the road to recovery. So where are you with that part of your life now?
So as far as the going back to work part, neither my parents nor my fiance want me to go back to work this year.
Okay.
So, but I mean, I have to do something for myself. Like I can't just sit around the house all day and just, wait and watch the grass grow so I can mow it again. Like I have to do something for myself. So, my doctors have cleared me. My physical therapist is on the verge of clearing me. The nurse says I'm pretty much good to go. I can go back whenever. I don't work a very extraneous job. I don't desaturate often. Like I said, I could walk for miles and miles and miles. It's just you put a small hill and we might have to take some breaks.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. But, to be able to hit the level of recovery that I hit right now, most doctors that I've had follow-ups with, which have all been this week actually, have been very surprised.
So let me ask you this: being that you've went through this ordeal and you've came out the other side, and you're doing well, what are your thoughts at this point then of possibly being vaccinated so you can get back to your normalcy of your life and go back to work?
That'll be my question.
And,
so they told me, when I was, released from the hospital, they said not to get the vaccination for about 4 or 5 months. They said wait 4 to 5 months, and then they absolutely recommended it. Every doctor that I've talked to has recommended the vaccination. Not one doctor has gone against it that I have spoken to. So it's definitely, I get it. Like it's experimental, things like that. Some people have gotten sick. Some people haven't felt anything. So, I mean, for me, like I'm not an anti-vaxxer or anything. I don't think it's gonna what's the worst it could do,
Yeah.
So like I've already gone through what I feel like the worst this virus could do. If there's a preventative out there that has been proven to work in some instances, then why not take it?
The scary thing is there's a new variant to it now.
Yeah, that
thing is like it's evolving.
Exactly.
And that's scary.
Exactly. It is. And for all those people who kept me in their prayers, all those people who reached out to me, all the people who I got a lot of texts, a lot of cards, a lot of messages, people who kept me in their prayers. Thank you so much. Thank you. Like I truly do believe that had a big part to play in it. you know, and to be honest, like, you know, if you looked at me a month ago versus looking at me today, like it's a night and day difference, you know.
I will say, you know, I wish I would have known more of what was going on. I really didn't hear a lot about. I really didn't even know much about it until, you know, one of your Padres, Marcos, came on our holiday show, and I kind of find out about it because, you know, I'm all the way up here in the snow tundra of the Jersey, but you know, as soon as I found out, you know, I know. You know, we didn't get a chance to talk about it on the show because, you know, there wasn't a lot of information going on.
Right.
And I understand that. But, you know, we've had a lot of fun, you know, between the shows talking a little trash. But, you know, we love you guys. And we definitely had our prayers out for you. And, you know, we're glad to see you, you know, up and around and back at home and, you know, sporting that ugly hat. You know what I'm saying? So
he's just saying that because we haven't signed his checks in like 2 months.
There it is. Oh,
he misses the checks.
Yeah, I need
don't
my income,
worry,
bro.
All right, they're a little late. They're in the mail.
All right, good.
But
get those stimulus things going. You know.
No, I will say this. You know, like for anyone, like I'm usually not a very open person about my personal life. Like, yeah, I have a podcast, but if you pay attention, we don't really ever talk about my personal life so much. But I feel like this is something that I did need to, you know, I did want out there because I want people to know, like, this is real. Like, this has real consequences, and not just to you, but those people around you who care about you, who love you, who like worry about you, you know? Like, you know, just the fact, just worrying so much about someone could make you sick, can make you ill.
Yeah.
You know, and it's real. Like, people go through this every day. There's millions of people.
There's 25 million people. 25 million people that has caught it. Cases.
Exactly.
And
25
about 460,000 deaths.
Mm-hmm. And so when you look at that, there's people who, you know, maybe didn't get one of these 16 ECMO machines that are only available in Orlando, or one of the 16 that are only available in Tampa, or one of like the 30 that are only available in what's it called, Miami. You know, like not all of these hospitals have that ECMO machine, and that ECMO machine saves lives, you know?
Yeah.
And so again, like, you know, just thank you to everybody who kept me in their prayers. You know, what do you guys call you call him Viper on the show?
Yeah.
Viper. He, you know, reached out to me, always kept me encouraged. It's like he had like a second intuition of like whenever I needed motivation the most, like I would get a text from him, and you know, it would always be something like inspirational, and you know, I would say like that, you know, that would help a lot. Just like the mentality, like keeping a positive mentality, and other people who reached out to me too, like my friends and stuff, like just kept in contact, like, you know, you got this, bro, things like that. Like I said, the reason I'm doing this is just because it's real. It's very real. It could happen to anyone, you know, and just take care of yourself. Be as preventative as possible. I was never mad at myself because I always did what I could do to try to prevent, you know, it from happening. And unfortunately, you know, I got it. And where I got it, I couldn't tell you. Could be at work, could have been somewhere else, could have been at a store. I don't know. But the thing was, I got the worst of it. I lived through the experience, and it's real. It's very, very real. You know,
it's scary too.
Well, I appreciate you, you know, coming on and, you know, speaking your truth about everything and sharing with everybody that, you know, sure, we don't have a lot of viewers, but the people, at least with us, I know, like for me, you know, I appreciate hearing about it because sometimes, you know, we think we're invulnerable, or the people around us are invulnerable. And, you know, sometimes we do forget that it's not just about whether I'm going to get it. It's how I could possibly carry it on to somebody else, and how it can affect them, and where that could put them. And hearing a firsthand story from somebody that I know, who, you know, I have a friendship with and everything like that, it does hit home a little bit more to make me remember that I maybe am not doing everything I can on a daily basis. You know, I do a lot. Listen, I have my masks. I don't really go out much. I sanitize, but there are other things I can do probably to be a little bit more safer, because there are people around me in my life that have asthma and different things of that nature that it can affect them to a different degree. So I definitely appreciate having you on and you talking about everything today.
Absolutely. And like I said, take care of, like you said, it's not just how it affects you, but how it can affect those people around you. You may not feel anything. I thought, I'm in that demographic that just gets the light symptoms. This originally was a 65 plus, virus or something that would affect them. But, like I'm 26 years old and it hit me this hard. My blood type is O positive, which is supposed to give me some sort of advantage in this whole thing. And it hit me this hard. I've not had any prior medical history. Like I've never been, like I don't have, what's it called? Like I don't have asthma, don't have diabetes, I don't drink. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. Like I literally, I'm not going to say I take care of my body because I was like very overweight,
but you weren't doing anything to damage it in ways that other people do. And
exactly,
so and that's even more scary that we just, it's definitely educational. I think hopefully, if nothing else, we've talked about it a few times on the show, but I think this is the most impactful, at least I hope, to our viewers to see, this is real life. Like the pictures that were up there, this is like this. People take it for granted. People sit there and they get bitch about Matt wearing a mask. They bitch about having to live there, do certain things. And, people are worried about what Biden's going to do going forward about shutting down some of America and maybe shutting down restaurants and things of that nature to try to curb some of, what's going on out there. Like this is real. This is real. It affects people and we have to take it serious. And, like I say, I appreciate you coming on and talking about it because, it brings it to light to everybody. And I hope everybody, will take this to heart and spread it out there, spread the word to people. Like, look, like you need to take precautions because like you said, you don't even know where you got it from. You were doing everything, and sometimes like, listen, I went food shopping today to the grocery store and they offered to wipe down the cart and stuff and get some hand sanitizer. And I, in my mind at the time, I'm like, oh, I'm not really worried about that. That's not a big deal. But something that small could affect so many people. And like you said, it's and to hear what your friends and your close friends, right? Like the guys who spend that time in your room with you, your fiance, your parents, I can't imagine what they went through. You know what I mean? And that's we affect people around us so much more than we know.
Exactly.
Whether we're getting them sick or if it's us being sick, how that can affect their lives and what they go through, that we have to start taking this more serious.
Yeah.
So we got a question for you real quick.
Go ahead.
Mrs. Sabrina asks, so when is the wedding?
No wedding. I honestly, like both me and my fiance, like we talked about this and it's like, how do I say it? Like weddings are cool. If you have a wedding, all means like to you, go ahead. That's what you want to do. I've never been the wedding type person, neither has she.
Okay. So this is not a COVID thing. This is just a you thing.
This is just a us thing. This is
I didn't know if this was like why am I going to grab a bunch of people, put them in an area to celebrate?
It was always going to be the city hall plan. Always.
Okay.
Always. Yeah. That was planned from the get go.
All right.
Yeah, well, that's how I got married. I'm like, first of all, my wife's family's in Czech
city halls.
My family's in Boston.
Listen, that's because you have to spend your money on your BMWs
why spend
your
the
stock
money
exchange
for other people to enjoy it when I could take that money and enjoy myself?
Yeah, exactly. You're putting on your BMWs and your stock exchange. Like we know you. You guys got any more questions before we start to wrap this up? I don't mind. We ran long today, and I love it because it was worth it. But I know we probably should start wrapping it up. You guys got any more questions?
No,
I don't have that. I don't have any other questions.
For sharing your experience, that's pretty.
Thank you guys for having me
add?
on. Sorry I was a little bit late.
No, you're good.
Just want to shout out. Los Compadres Podcast. Check us out on literally just about every platform: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Pornhub.
OnlyFans, because that's what Goldo's on.
Well,
Calm down.
but everything, man, everything, just turn on your we're gonna do that same thing that you two did, where we just automatically send things to your iPhone for no reason.
Yeah,
I remember that whole Apple scenario. Yeah, we're just gonna send our podcast to your iPhone, so just be ready to receive it.
You guys definitely got to go check them out. It's 3 of them. That's why it's Los Compadres. You guys have, if anybody who watches the show knows, we've had Marcos on before. He's a friend to the show.
They crashed the show once.
Cesar.
They crashed the show
and Los Compadres.
Yeah, we took over. We made it the Los Compadres episode.
And then we have Jason, who's the and Compadres, but that's okay. You know what I'm saying?
I really like what Nelson called it one time, Los Chubby Podcast.
We miss old Melly out here, you know what I'm saying? But no, we definitely appreciate you coming on, and you guys definitely got to go check out the podcast. It's a great listen. It's on once a week, right?
Yeah, once a week. We release every Friday. 8 a.m.
Every Friday. Awesome.
Yeah,
definitely. I'm subscribed. I listen to it every now and then, not as much as I should, but I definitely listen every now and then. It's a good time. I definitely like the little back and forth we had going for a while, but so I'm going to leave it up to you, Cesar, whether we do this or not, because I know the mood might not be quite there, but if you have something that you want to go ahead and throw out there, we'll go ahead and run the segment. Chest. We have a segment. I don't know. I don't know. Do you watch the show? I know you haven't for a while, probably, but generally?
I haven't for a while. The last time was Sneaker of the Day.
Okay, which we no longer have. We replaced it with a segment called "Fuck Outta Here."
Fuck Outta Here. Oh wait,
fuck Outta Here.
I gotta put up the Yeezys. We
got Sneaker of the Day.
Sneaker of the Day. These are
the real Yeezys, right?
They're real Yeezys. Yeah, they are. I bought them straight off of Adidas. They cost.
No, because Goldo ran into somebody in a barber shop that he did a fuck out of here about that it was the Yeezys was spelled wrong.
Bro, those are Yassies.
Yo, that reminds me. If you look at Dwayne Wade's name, his name is actually spelled Dwanye Wade. Just Google it right now. I'm so serious. Google it right now.
Oh my god!
And his dad's name. His dad's name is actually spelled like Dwayne the right way. So I don't know if it was like a hospital mix-up or something, but
oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Dwanye Wade.
So yeah, we don't, because like I say, it's up to you. Do you have a fuck out of here you want to throw out there? Do you want to do the segment?
You guys go first, and then I'll. All right.
So let me go ahead. Let me cue up the intro then, because
hey,
honestly,
Brian,
I didn't know if we were going to do this or not.
You're out of center. Could you move your camera to? If it's my right, I guess it's be your left.
Is that better for you? I mean, you're not exactly center either there.
No, you have to shift your whole camera, whole camera.
Oh, is it that bad for you?
Yeah,
is it making you upset?
No, keep going.
Oh, okay.
Keep going. A little bit more, just a little bit more.
That's it. Like, oh, you asshole. You want, I fell for it.
Now you just caught on to that.
Okay.
I like that one.
Oh, that was good. That was clever. You son of a bitch. Oh, wow.
I like that one.
Okay. We got to get you on here more, man. You're pretty good. All right.
He got you on that one.
Oh, man. All right. So here we go. It's about that time. Let me throw on the thing here, and we'll get it rocking.
Let's go, Mister.
All right, we're gonna throw that up there again because I'll be honest, I kind of messed it up. So we're gonna do this one more time.
You left the compadres.
Yeah, but I don't know why it's still up there.
It's in the middle too. All right. I was wondering why. I was like,
all right. Anyways,
this is why we don't do things live. This is why.
Yeah.
I love live. Live is
it's
like,
right.
yo.
Sometimes you mess
like
it
our
up,
president said. It is what it is.
Yeah, we enjoy it.
Our past president.
It is what it is. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, who wants to go first? I mean, I got mine, and
I go first because since I brought it up, I brought our past president, and it's gonna be my last one. This is the last past Donald Trump presidency. Fuck out of here! I'm gonna do. And basically, it's not even about him, right? It's about, well, technically it is. So my fuck out of here is they still going through the impeachment process for the second time, where it's not gonna allow him to run for president again. But can you believe that the impeachment is not going to follow through because it looks like they want him to run again after what he put the country through, and the fucking the attack on the Capitol and all that shit? This lets you know that fucking Capitol Hill, the people that make the laws, the lawmakers out there, those guys don't give a fuck. They don't care. All they care is how do you fill my pockets and how do we keep going with this shit. So my fuck out of here is for that, for the Republicans out there that actually actually want him to run again for presidency and fuck this country up even more. So fuck out of here with that shit.
All right, Goldo, go ahead.
Okay. For me, it's for Mr. Conor McGregor. Listen, you were humble this fight. Like you came in cheering up, arms like swinging, but not like towards fighting. You were more like a friendly guy. We need aggressive Conor McGregor. You know, the notorious, the guy that will fight you for looking at him. Like, bro, you got knocked out in the second round. Fuck out of here. Where's my money? I bet on you, bro. I bet on you.
I was about to say that sounds like someone who bet on McGregor and lost. That's a fuck out of here for someone who lost a lot of money on that.
Yo, fuck out of here, bro. I lost money because of you. I was your fan. I would get jumped, bro.
All right, I got mine.
Go ahead.
Jerry Jones. I think you've been at the helm too long. I think you need to go ahead and just hire a real GM and pay Dak Prescott. So Jerry Jones, fuck out of here.
There you go. The UK accent. All right, mine's a little bit different. This will be the first and last time ever in the history of this show that I'm about to do something. And just go ahead.
He's gonna say that he's gonna admit that Brady's a GOAT.
Go ahead and take it in. Listen, RIP Brady haters. Like, if this dude wins this Super Bowl, he's going to be the first quarterback ever to go to a Super Bowl with the team for the first year. He's going to have a Super Bowl at home for the first time ever, and he's going to have number 7. And all I can say is fuck out of here to myself, because I am the biggest Brady hater ever. But God damn it, if this dude wins it, if he wins it, it's time for me to get fuck out of here. Because if he does it against Patrick Mahomes, the true GOAT, it will time for me to shut the fuck up.
I don't know.
Hasn't happened yet.
Prove he's a true GOAT just off.
Yeah, I said the same thing earlier.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Tom Brady is probably the best athlete in all sports.
Including
Michael.
That's why you should have been at the
Jordan.
You would have got Brad
Bowen. Listen, Patrick Mahomes is a better athletic quarterback for the 3 years he's been in the league than Tom Brady has ever been his entire 43 years.
Let me
I don't
rephrase
care
that.
what you say.
He's the best. He's the best winner. He's the best champion.
That's great.
Okay. He is the greatest player of all time in any sport.
Listen, we've said it before. He is the best winner. He's not the best athlete. There is a difference.
Right.
Because Dan Marino is a better quarterback.
Peyton Manning,
Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback.
Correct. So
Patrick
that's why
Mahomes is a better quarterback.
Yeah. But Patrick Mahomes will crown himself as the new GOAT if he wins this game.
No.
It's
still too early, bro.
Yeah,
it is way too early.
Talking about a man he's about to be on his 10th Super Bowl.
Yep.
Like, you have to remember, right? Like,
that's fine. Patrick Mahomes is already gonna be 1/5 of the way there, and he's already won 2.
It's gonna be his second Super Bowl. It's gonna be his second Super Bowl.
It's gonna be his second Super Bowl.
If you've been to 10 and you've been to 2, that's 1/5, right?
20%.
That's math.
But then 20%. You get to the LeBron. But you get into the LeBron Jordan situation where LeBron has been to how many championships? But he only has
10
4
NBA
rings.
Finals.
Well,
and he only's got 4 rings. But you got Jordan, who's been to 6 and won 6. And could have had more if he didn't take that year off.
Listen, you put AD with LeBron for all those championships, and he'd have as many rings as Jordan. He had Pippen, bro. That's a top 50 player. Like, listen, I will have you back on, and we will have this discussion. But we've already gone into an hour and a half. We have to cut the show. I don't mean to do it. We have to end it at some point. But I promise you, I will have you back on where we can actually go in and start debating some stuff. Because this was just you telling your story, which I loved. But I need you back here where we can start talking some shit, because I've been waiting for you on the show since I got invited on. Because
listen, I've been waiting to get invited on for the longest time now. You guys invited Marcos before you invited me. I don't know how that happens.
Oh, I have nothing to do with that, unfortunately. I mean, I'm just a.
Jesus on the phone with me right now, and he's wanting me to tell you that Brady is a GOAT. Fuck out of here with that mentality, Brian.
Oh, Jason. Oh, that's why he puts the cum in compadres.
No, but I mean, I can't lie. Like, listen, like when you think about it, one game he always comes out clutch somehow, always manages to win.
You know what? There's one team he doesn't come clutch against. Hold on.
Oh
wait, you can see it. Oh, there it is. There it is. The couch. There's somebody who listen 18-1, 18 and what?
The Eagles could say the same thing.
Eagles could say the same thing.
That doesn't mean
18-1. Eagles could say that? I don't think so, because he played the Eagles twice, didn't he?
No.
Yeah, he did. Donovan McNabb. Wasn't that the Patriots?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yes,
yeah.
Right.
McNabb.
Eli Manning and Tom Coughlin are the only undefeated team against him.
Yeah, but the Giants only went to the Super Bowl twice in that era. In the Manning era.
I try to get him to understand that. He doesn't understand that.
Listen, I saw it on Twitter today.
Tom Brady Belichick.
Tom Brady still says his biggest regrets of his career are losing to the Giants.
Of course.
Twice. He tells them that all the time.
Regrets.
That's all he thinks about. It's not the 6 rings he got. It's the 2 losses to the Giants. The Cowboys don't even know what that is, because you weren't even alive when they went to the playoffs.
I was.
mean, let's be honest.
I was 2 years old. All right. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Oh, okay? Man.
But no, man. I mean, you got to think about it, right? In the NBA, you play 6 games. NHL, you play 6. Or I'm 7. Best of 7. World Series, best of 7. But in the NFL, it's just one, and that's what makes him the GOAT of all sports, is that he can do it. He can win the game just in one. It's just one game. That's it. You don't get a second chance. You don't get a third chance. You don't get they punish you on an off day. Like, it's just one game, and that's why Tom Brady is the GOAT of all the GOATs.
We're gonna save this for another episode. I gotta end the show. Hate to do it, but we ran so much longer than we normally do.
Hey, Cesar,
so on that note,
thank you.
I want to thank my beautiful co-hosts for coming on. I want to thank my man, freaking Cesar, puts the Los Compadres. Go check out the podcast, watch it, listen to it, do whatever you want, but subscribe, please. And let me know what you guys think of the show. Let me know what you guys think about the stories, comments, so that way we can pass them on. And next month we will have you on. You will be our special guest again. I don't care what these guys say, because I got some debating to do with you.
After Super Bowl Sunday, I'm all for it.
Okay, let's go.
I got you.
All right, February, I'm gonna have you on. But in that note, we're out. We love you. Thank everybody for viewing, and good night.
Thank you.
We got the right stuff. We put the hammer right down. Wanna be like us? Look, you better stick around. If you want it.